OTAs going right now. So get me Adam Schefter. 23 teams holding OTAs today, to be exact. Give me something you're keeping your eye on this offseason right now. Give me something everyone should be paying attention to.
The Cleveland Browns quarterback situation is really interesting right now, but the Cincinnati Bengals and their unresolved contract situation with Trey Hendrickson is such that this is a situation that's been going on for the better part of 2 off seasons. You have a player who led the NFL in sacks last year, Greeny, still has not been paid, still is not happy. Obviously, both sides want to work this out. And most teams have given away a lot of their salary cap space, so it's more difficult to make a trade. So it's almost as if Hendrickson and the Bengals are left to pick up the pieces and figure out how to resolve this when there's been no solution in sight and they have not been able to bridge their differences. We'll see if they can get that done here coming up in the coming days and weeks.
Let me get RC into the conversation this morning as well. Ryan Clark is up with us early today. RC, what about this strategy? They paid their receivers. They have the one guy who did anything for them defensively last year, sort of hanging in the wind. How does this work out for Cincinnati?
You know, it's really a crazy ordeal when you look at what's going on with their first-round draft pick, Shamar Stewart, as well. It seemed like the Cincinnati Bengals were getting out of that cheap Bengals sort of moniker, but they aren't. Trey Hendrickson has earned his money, and I'm not sure necessarily what they're haggling over, but this is a player that's a must-have for new defensive coordinator Al Golden if they want to move forward and compete with the tops of the AFC.
Give me another one, Schefter, you got your eye on. How about something involving Jalen Ramsey?
Yeah, the Miami Dolphins have been looking and open to dealing Jalen Ramsey, and there has been interest in him across the league. I think probably more than people realized, and it certainly sounds like in the next couple of weeks, the Dolphins will be able to find a trade partner for Jalen Ramsey, and he will be moving on yet again. Started in Jacksonville, went to the Rams, went to the Dolphins. He's about to find his 4th new team here in the coming weeks.
And then let me skip forward to the last one here in the interest of time, because I'm dying to hear what you have to tell me about the situation in Cleveland.
Well, Greeny, this is going to be the most interesting storyline all summer long, and they're in OTAs right now, so you know that that's going to be very interesting. We've got the 2 veterans in Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett. We've got the 2 rookies in Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. And, of course, Deshaun Watson's been off to the side throwing, coming off another torn Achilles, 2 surgeries. He doesn't figure in the picture, but Dillon Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders certainly do. And there's not enough room for all the quarterbacks they currently have in their room. It's hard to imagine that they'd move off of Dillon Gabriel or Shedeur Sanders. I think both players wind up making the roster. So then the question becomes, does Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett wind up winning the starting job? And which one winds up staying in Cleveland? Probably room for one veteran. There's the room right now. It's a little crowded. Deshaun Watson, I would think, would be an IR candidate with the 2 Achilles injuries, the 2 surgeries, and the other quarterbacks will be left to vie for the Browns starting quarterback job. We'll be talking about this all summer.
RC, to me, this is going to be the story of the summer and into the season. Do you believe we will see Shedeur Sanders start for the Cleveland Browns sometime next season?
You know what? I believe he will start at some point next season. I believe Kenny Pickett will be the front runner. We have to remember he was the 20th overall pick of the Pittsburgh Steelers a few years ago. But everything you're hearing out of Cleveland is how impressive Shedeur Sanders is. This is a guy we talked about as a possible first rounder, and I think he's showing that talent there. And the Cleveland Browns are desperate for a franchise guy.
All right, I have to get back to this. Let me take a quick break on that thought. But
Super Bowl champion.
Thank you for inserting that.
Clear.
Markeith, what team do you root for?
America's team, Dallas Cowboys.
So let me ask what everyone in the world is asking. How the hell did that happen? Like, how can you possibly be twins and you root for the 2 arch rivals in the NFL?
Let's tell them the story. When we were younger, Little Giants was one of our favorite movies. And once he seen that star, he was done. It was just something that he took to, and I couldn't understand it.
The 90s. Dallas was America's team. You turn on TV, all you see was a big
Greeny,
star.
they're from Philly.
How can I not like the Cowboys?
Right.
So will you guys go to the opener together, or will you watch it together when they open the season? First game?
For a fact, we'd be there.
For a fact.
Yeah.
Okay.
No question.
Then let's get to it. Markeith, you have a Cowboys-related question for Shefty.
For sure. First, I want to say I appreciate being up here with you, Shefty. I've been watching you for a lot of years. Me and brother loves your shows. First off, My Dallas Cowboys, Micah Parsons, man. When are they going to extend my guy? I know he's going to get extended, but when is he going to get extended?
If you look at the numbers, he's outperformed Myles Garrett. Myles Garrett set a record this offseason as the highest paid defensive player. Micah Parsons is going to beat it. It takes time to do a deal like that, but the expectation is they'll get it worked out. Micah is not going to go anywhere. They'll figure out a deal for him the way they figured out a deal for Dak. Hopefully, it'll become before opening day when we're not doing Sunday countdown and the deal gets signed in the middle of the show. Hopefully it'll get done sometime before training camp, right in the middle. But Micah Parsons, I think the feeling around the league is these two sides will figure it out, and Mike is not going anywhere.
Pay that man.
RC, how about it? I mean, Micah Parsons, foundational piece, Dallas. What are your thoughts?
I mean, Micah Parsons fell into the Dallas Cowboys' laps, right? If we knew he would be this good, he would have been a top 3 pick. But you heard early in the offseason that Jerry Jones said he didn't care about Micah Parsons' agent. Well, Micah Parsons' agent is David Mulligetta. And David Mulligetta told me something one time that I will never forget. He said, I will not take $9 on 10. So he is not only going to break Myles Garrett's record, I believe he will obliterate it, and he deserves to. If the Dallas Cowboys do the right thing, they make this work in the way that it's supposed to for the team and the player, now they can continue to build around this linchpin piece on the defensive side of the ball.
And the humorous part about this, of course, is Jerry Jones coming out saying he doesn't even know who Micah Parsons' agent is. Well, Micah Parsons' agent also happens to represent another Cowboy headed into the last year of his deal, George Pickens. So now Jerry Jones has plenty of opportunities to get to know Micah Parsons' agent.
Yeah, he and David are going to spend a lot of time together. They're going to become very close. Okay, quickly, Marcus, you have a question. Go.
RC, I know what you're going to say, and I already know the answer, but I'm going to ask the question anyway, right? My Super Bowl champion, Philadelphia Eagles. Is it the Eagles or is it the field in the NFC?
Come on, twin. You know it's always the field. This ain't Michael Jordan time anymore where you can just pick MJ. It's not hoops, right? One player or one team never has that sort of dominance, even when you're looking at the Kansas City Chiefs where you just pick them to win it every year. I love everything that Howie's doing with this team. Jalen seems to be stepping in to his leadership role in a magnificent way. But there are going to be teams like the Green Bay Packers, teams like the Detroit Lions, teams that come up with Washington Commanders, teams that try to do their best to dethrone the Philadelphia Eagles. Right now, they're the blueprint, but I got to take the field before I take the one team.
Now, Marcus is not
I don't know how you said that. I can't believe you said that.
And the NFC East.
Eagles get better or worse this offseason? Like, on balance, Super Bowl champions usually lose a lot of pieces.
I think they're as good as they were, but I think when you look around at the rest of the teams in that conference, there's some good teams. Like Detroit's going to be hungry. There's some. Tampa Bay has been underrated. Dallas is going to be Washington stuff. Jayden Daniels and say like there's a lot of good teams in the NFC.
Nobody wins back-to-back NFC East titles.
Yes.
It doesn't.
21 years.
Cowboys don't win at all. So.
Cowboys won the NFC East.
All right, Wendy will have a football question a little later as we continue
Icebox
as well.
is not showing up. The Little Giants are not showing up.
Xin chào tất cả các bạn, chào mừng các bạn đã đến với kênh YouTube của mình. Ngày hôm nay mình sẽ làm một chiếc video là tô màu những sản phẩm, hoa quả, con vật, đồ vật, vân vân. Nếu các bạn chưa biết sản phẩm gì đúng không, thì hãy xem hết video và để lại một cái like và một lượt subscribe để mình có thể tiếp tục động lực ra video nhé. Và bây giờ các bạn hãy xem hết video để biết đó là sản phẩm gì nhé. Bây giờ các bạn cùng mình đi tô màu nào.